Hey everyone. I know you're all probably getting ready for the holidays,
Yeah.
but while you're digging out your winter coats,
Uh,
we're going to do a deep dive on something you might not expect.
okay.
It's the link between cold weather and stroke risk.
Interesting.
We found this really fascinating Newsmax article
Oh, cool.
all about some new stroke prevention guidelines.
Okay.
And trust me, you'll
Uh,
want to hear this.
I'm all ears.
What's really interesting here is that a lot of people don't realize
Yeah.
how much even a small temperature drop
Huh?
can affect their heart health.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I always knew cold weather could make you feel a bit sluggish,
Right.
but I never really thought about it increasing stroke risk.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something to be aware of.
So tell me, what's the connection?
Well, the American Stroke Association just issued these new guidelines,
Okay.
and it's because stroke is the fourth leading cause of death in the U.S.
Wow.
And they really want people to know that it's largely preventable.
That's encouraging to hear.
It is.
So where does the cold weather come in?
Well, when it gets cold, your blood vessels constrict.
Okay.
They basically narrow.
Uh-huh.
And that makes your heart work harder to pump blood through your body, which can lead to higher blood pressure,
Right.
which is a major risk factor for both heart attacks and strokes.
Okay, so it's like our bodies are under more stress when it's cold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you add in all that holiday stress,
Uh-huh.
and it's like a double whammy for your cardiovascular system.
Double whammy, I like that.
Yeah.
Easy to remember.
Right.
But are there any studies that actually prove this link between cold weather and stroke?
Absolutely. This German study found that for every 2.9 degrees Celsius drop in temperature,
Okay.
the risk of stroke goes up by 11%.
11%.
Yeah, and that's just an average.
Wow.
For people who are already at risk
Yeah.
because of age or other health issues, that risk can be even higher.
That's a much bigger jump than I would have thought.
It is significant.
Are there any other studies that support this finding?
Yes, a Brazilian study also found a strong correlation between colder temperatures and an increase in stroke deaths.
So the evidence is definitely piling up.
It is.
So what does this all mean for us?
Well,
Should we all just hibernate until spring?
not at all.
Okay.
There are plenty of simple things you can do to protect yourself.
Okay.
The key is to be aware of the risks and take some basic precautions.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are your top tips for staying safe in the cold?
The article recommends dressing warmly in layers
Okay.
and pay special attention to your hands and feet
Right.
because you lose a lot of heat through your extremities.
My grandma always used to say, if your feet are cold, you're cold all over.
She was right.
She was very wise.
And if you're spending time outdoors, be sure to take breaks to warm up inside.
Okay.
Even a quick trip into a store or coffee shop can make a difference.
So those hot cocoa breaks are officially doctor approved.
They are.
All right.
And here's another important tip. Be careful with alcohol,
Okay.
especially if you're outside.
Okay.
Alcohol can make you feel warm,
Right.
but it actually lowers your core body temperature.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's easy to get carried away with the holiday cheer
It is.
and not realize how cold you're actually getting.
Yeah, that's true.
And while we're on the topic of outdoor activities,
Uh-huh.
let's talk about something that might surprise you.
Okay.
Shoveling snow.
Shoveling snow.
Yeah.
What's so dangerous about that?
Well,
It seems like good exercise.
it can be,
Yeah.
but it's also incredibly strenuous,
Okay.
especially for people who aren't used to physical activity.
Right.
And when you combine that exertion with cold weather,
Yeah.
it puts a lot of strain on your heart.
I'm starting to see where this is going.
This everyday health study found that over 11,500 snow shoveling injuries
Wow.
were treated in U.S. hospitals.
That's a lot.
It is
Yeah.
half of those injuries required hospitalization.
Oh my goodness.
And 100% of the deaths associated with snow shoveling were cardiovascular related.
Wow. That's eye-opening.
It is.
I never would have guessed that shoveling snow could be so risky.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
It is.
If you're going to be shoveling snow, talk to your doctor about whether it's safe for you.
Okay.
And make sure you take frequent breaks to rest and warm up.
So we've talked about the dangers of cold weather,
We have.
but what about preventing strokes in general?
Sure.
Is there anything we can do beyond bundling up in the winter?
Absolutely. The good news is that about 80% of strokes are preventable.
Okay.
The key is to make healthy lifestyle choices.
Okay, let's dive into that.
Right.
What are some of the most important things we can do to lower our risk?
Well, the article highlights several key areas:
Okay.
managing your blood pressure and sodium intake,
Okay.
maintaining a healthy weight,
Right.
exercising regularly,
Yeah.
and talking to your doctor about atrial fibrillation,
Okay.
especially if you're over 80.
Atrial fibrillation. I'm not familiar with that.
It's basically an irregular heartbeat
Okay.
that can cause blood clots to form in the heart.
Uh-huh.
And if those clots travel to the brain, they can block blood flow and cause a stroke.
So it's an important thing to be aware of, especially for older adults.
It is.
Okay.
And another powerful tool for stroke prevention is diet.
Oh, okay.
The article specifically mentions the Mediterranean diet,
Uh-huh.
which is rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats like olive oil.
I love the Mediterranean diet.
That's a good one.
So ditching the processed food and embracing a Mediterranean lifestyle could significantly reduce your risk of stroke. That's a pretty delicious way to protect your health.
It is.
Yeah.
And here's one you might not expect.
Okay.
Air quality.
Air quality.
Even short-term exposure to air pollution can increase your risk of stroke.
Really? I had no idea air pollution could have such a direct impact on stroke risk.
It can.
What can we do about that?
The article recommends checking the air quality in your area
Okay.
by visiting airnow.gov, especially if you have respiratory issues or are planning to spend a lot of time outdoors.
Good tip. I'll definitely be checking airnow.gov from now on.
Good.
Is there anything else we should be thinking about when it comes to stroke prevention?
The article also highlights the importance of stress management.
Okay.
One study found that a single stressful life event increased stroke risk by 17%,
Wow.
and 2 stressful events bumped it up to 31%.
That's significant.
Stress really can take a toll on our bodies.
It really can.
But before we dive into stress management techniques,
Okay.
let's talk about what to do if you suspect someone might be having a stroke.
Yeah.
Time is absolutely critical in these situations.
Absolutely. What are the signs we should be looking for?
There's a simple acronym that can help you remember
Okay.
FAST,
Fasty.
rest.
Uh-huh. Tell me more.
F stands for face.
Yeah. Okay.
Check if one side of the person's face is drooping.
Okay.
A is for arm. Can they raise both arms evenly?
Got it.
Or is one arm weak or numb? S is for speech. Is their speech slurred or difficult to understand?
Okay.
And T is for time. If you notice any of these signs, call 911 immediately.
FST, I'll definitely remember that.
Good.
It's so simple, but so important. Knowing those signs could literally save a life.
It could?
And while knowing what to do in an emergency is crucial,
Yes.
remember that making those small lifestyle changes we talked about today can significantly reduce your risk in the first place.
Absolutely.
Small changes, big impact. I like that.
It's true.
This has been incredibly insightful.
Me too.
We've learned about the surprising link between cold weather and stroke risk, the importance of taking precautions,
Yeah.
and some key lifestyle changes to reduce our overall risk.
It's all about being informed and taking proactive steps to protect your health.
Exactly. But we're not done yet. Coming up, we'll delve deeper into stress management techniques and explore additional resources to help you stay informed and prepared. Stay tuned.
Sounds good. It's interesting that you mentioned stress, because I think a lot of people underestimate the impact
Yeah.
that it can have on their overall health,
Yeah.
especially heart health.
Right. Especially during the holidays when things tend to get a bit hectic.
Exactly.
You know, it's even more important to be mindful of our stress levels.
It is.
So let's talk about some practical ways to manage that stress, especially during this time of year.
Sure.
What are some things our listeners can do to keep those stress hormones in check?
Well, there are a lot of different approaches.
Yeah.
And what works best can vary from person to person.
Right.
But some of the simplest and most effective techniques
Mm-hmm.
include things like mindfulness meditation,
Okay.
deep breathing exercises, and spending time in nature.
Those all sound lovely and relaxing, but I'm curious about how they actually work to reduce stress.
Sure.
Can you break it down for us?
Well, mindfulness meditation helps you focus on the present moment
Mm.
and let go of worries about the past or future.
Okay.
It's almost like hitting the pause button on your racing thoughts.
I like that.
And deep breathing exercises can slow down your heart rate
Yeah.
and calm your nervous system.
Uh,
And spending time in nature has been shown to have a really restorative effect
yeah.
on both our mental and physical well-being.
I love it's amazing how much power we have
We do.
to influence our own stress levels just by making small changes to our routine.
Absolutely. And it's not just about relaxation techniques.
Okay.
Regular exercise is also a fantastic stress reliever.
It is.
When you move your body, your brain releases endorphins,
Right.
which have mood-boosting effects.
So in a way, getting that heart rate up can actually help protect your heart in the long run.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of social connection.
Oh, that's a good one.
Spending time with loved ones, talking
Yeah.
to a friend, or joining a group activity
Right.
can all help buffer against stress.
Oh, it's true. Laughter is the best medicine sometime.
Absolutely. And remember, managing stress isn't about eliminating it completely.
Mm.
It's about finding healthy ways to cope with it
Right.
and prevent it from taking over your life.
That's a great point. It's all about finding that balance.
It is.
Are there any other resources that you would recommend for our listeners
Sure.
who want to learn more about stroke prevention and overall heart health?
The American Stroke Association website is a fantastic resource.
Okay.
They have a wealth of information
Huh.
on stroke risk factors, prevention strategies, warning signs,
Okay.
what to do in an emergency.
Yeah.
Their website is stroke.org.
Okay, I'll make a note of that, stroke.org. And for air quality, remember you can visit airnow.gov, as mentioned in the article.
That's right. Airnow.gov is a great tool for staying informed about air pollution levels in your area.
Yeah.
It's especially helpful if you're planning to spend time outdoors
Right.
or have respiratory issues.
So we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the surprising link between cold weather and stroke risk to practical tips for prevention and stress management as we wrap up. What are some key takeaways that you'd like our listeners to remember?
Well, first and foremost, I want to emphasize that stroke is a serious health concern.
Yeah.
But the good news is that it's largely preventable.
That's reassuring.
It is.
Yeah.
And remember, cold weather can exacerbate stroke risk. So it's especially important to take precautions during the winter months.
Right.
Bundle up, take breaks indoors,
Yeah.
and be mindful of those outdoor activities.
It's like my grandma always said, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing choices.
Exactly.
She was full of them.
And beyond those cold weather precautions,
Yeah.
it's really about making those small, sustainable lifestyle changes.
Uh-huh.
They can have a big impact on your long-term health.
Small changes, big impact. I love that.
It's true.
And perhaps most importantly, pay attention to your body. Know your risk factors.
Yes,
And don't hesitate to talk to your doctor if you have any concerns.
absolutely.
Knowledge is power, and early detection is key. Early detection is key. I think that's a great motto to live by.
I agree.
Before we say goodbye, do you have any final thoughts or a parting question to leave our listener pondering?
You know, we've talked a lot about the physical aspects of stroke prevention,
We have.
but I think it's important to also consider the mental and emotional side of things.
Oh, yeah.
So my question for our listeners is this.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the link between stress and stroke risk,
Right.
what simple stress reduction techniques can you incorporate into your daily life,
Yeah.
especially during the busy holiday season?
Good question.
Maybe it's something as simple as taking 5 minutes each morning
Okay.
to practice deep breathing,
Right.
or incorporating a short walk into your lunch break.
That's such an important question. It's a great reminder that taking care of our mental health is just as important as taking care of our physical health.
It is.
And I think sometimes we lose sight of that,
We do.
especially during the holiday season when we're bombarded with so many demands and expectations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as you're navigating the holidays, I encourage you to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Make time for self-care.
Okay.
And remember that even small steps can make a big difference
Uh-huh.
when it comes to managing stress and protecting your health.
That's great advice. It's all about finding those little moments of peace and rejuvenation amidst the chaos.
Exactly. And remember,
Yeah.
even small steps can make a big difference.
I like that.
Whether it's a 5-minute meditation break,
Right.
a walk in the park, or simply taking a few deep breaths before tackling your to-do list.
Uh-huh.
Prioritize those stress-reducing activities.
Great advice. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've learned so much from this deep dive.
Me too.
It's amazing how something as simple as a change in the weather can have such a significant impact on our health.
It is. It's a reminder that we're all interconnected with our environment.
Yeah.
And those seemingly small changes
Right.
can have ripple effects throughout our bodies.
Absolutely. So to our listener out there, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the world of cold weather and stroke risk. Remember, knowledge is power.
It is.
And by understanding the risks and taking proactive steps, you can stay healthy and enjoy all that winter has to offer.
Stay warm, stay informed, and stay well.
And until next time, happy learning.
Mm.
Yeah, it really is all about finding those moments.
It is.
Like I know for me, even just taking a few minutes to step outside and breathe in some fresh air can totally shift my mood.
Fresh air is so underrated.
It is.
And it ties back to what we were discussing earlier
Uh-huh.
about the connection between the mind and body.
Yeah.
We tend to compartmentalize things,
Do.
but our physical and mental health are so intertwined.
They really are. And speaking of connections,
Yeah.
we've been talking a lot about how cold weather increases stroke risk.
Right.
But I'm curious, does this connection hold true in warmer climates too? Or is it mainly a concern in places that experience like those dramatic temperature drops?
That's a great question, and it's something that researchers are still exploring.
Okay.
But there is some evidence to suggest
Okay.
that even in warmer climates,
Uh-huh.
sudden temperature changes can trigger cardiovascular events.
Oh, wow.
So even if you live in a place where it doesn't get freezing cold,
Right.
it's still wise to be aware of the potential impact of temperature fluctuations on your health.
So it's not just about like reaching a certain low temperature,
Right.
but rather the body's response to those shifts.
Exactly. Our bodies are incredibly adaptable,
Yeah.
but they thrive on consistency.
Right.
So those sudden shifts in temperature, whether it's hot to cold or even just a drastic change in indoor versus outdoor temperatures,
Yeah.
can put stress on our cardiovascular system.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
So even if we don't experience those harsh winters, we all need to be mindful of how our bodies react to temperature changes.
Yeah.
It's like a universal reminder to listen to our bodies and take care of ourselves.
Well said. And, it's interesting to think about how this all connects to the bigger picture of climate change.
Okay.
As we see more extreme weather patterns and temperature fluctuations globally,
Right.
it's likely that we'll see a corresponding impact on cardiovascular health worldwide.
That's a sobering thought.
It is.
It really underscores the importance of addressing climate change,
Right?
not just for environmental reasons, but for our collective health as well.
Absolutely. It's a complex issue with far-reaching implications.
It is. Well, I think we've given our listener a lot to think about today, from the unexpected connection between cold weather and stroke risk to those practical tips for staying healthy and managing stress. It's been a really insightful deep dive.
It has, and I hope our listener feels empowered to take charge of their health and make those small but impactful changes that can make a big difference.
Small changes, big impact. I
Yeah.
love that. And remember, even if you only take away one thing from this deep dive, let it be this knowledge is power.
Yeah.
The more we understand about our bodies and the factors that influence our health, the better equipped we are to make informed decisions and live our best lives.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Stay curious, stay informed, and stay well.
And until next time, happy learning.